I don't buy new cars, I don't buy brand names, I go to Goodwill for my clothes. I like to save money, I like to find bargains, it's the life I chose. I throw nothing away, I'll find a use another day for all this junk I keep. My neighbors all hate me, they abuse and berate me, 'cause I like doing it cheap. Yeah, I like doing it cheap. Welcome to another episode of Doing It Cheap.
Well, how y'all doing, folks? It's PawPaw again. And I wanted to put a wheel kit on this generator, make it easier to move around because I am getting a little bit older. And daggone wheel kit's $45 at Harbor Freight. And hell, they're more than that. Order them somewhere else. So here's what I did. I found out that the holes for the wheels, for the little wheel axles, I found out that these holes were 1/2 inch. The problem is, the wheels I want to use is 5/8 of an inch inside diameter, 5/8. So if I went with a 1/2 inch bolt or 1/2 inch all thread, I would still have to buy bushings to go from a 1/2 inch to 5/8. And they were $1.50 per inch and needed a fraction over 2 inches for each wheel. So that was $6 plus tax just in bushings. And plus I'd have to buy them 1/2 inch bolts. So I just said to heck with it. I went ahead and spent $12.99 and bought this 3-foot piece of 5/8 inch all thread. So what I'll do then is I'm just going to put a wheel on like this right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put wheels right on that all thread and put a nut on it. Now, since this thing is not going to be going down the highway where I've got to worry about the nuts coming off and all that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to muck up the threads on the end of the shaft. I'm not going to fool with double nutting it. I'm not going to fool with double nutting. I'm not going to fool with cotter pins. None of that. All I want to do is I'm going to take a chisel and a hammer and I'm going to muck up them threads so that nut won't come off on its own. I'll do the same thing on each end. I mean, I'm going to mark the rod so I know where to cut it. But I'm going to do the same thing on each end and I'll have my rear wheels on there. So let me get this going. God, I need a cameraman, camera person, whatever. Did all that work with the daggum camera turned off. In a nutshell, what I did is I put the wheel on, held the nut up there, figured out where I need to cut it, marked it, I cut it, and then I rounded the edges of the threads off so I could get the nut to start. Now, before I bolt these wheels on there though, I'm going to pull the shaft out and I'm going to clean up the burrs that's in here where I did the drilling. Okay, we got the burrs knocked off of there. Now I'm going to take a hammer and a chisel. I'm going to muck up these threads on each end. Then I ain't got to worry about this nut backing off. I ain't got to worry about having stuff all kinds of tight. After all, we're not pulling this thing down the highway, we're just moving it around. Alright, so that's got the rear wheels took care of. Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this thing up there on that bench, and I'm going to figure out how far it's going to be from the bottom of this to the surface when it's setting up on these wheels, because you want your generator to set level when it's running. So I'll wrestle that around and get it up there and get it ready, and we'll figure it out. Metal shavings. Nobody wants metal shavings. Well, I'll just pick them up with a bread bag. People say, "PawPaw, do you not throw anything away?" I say, well, apparently you don't listen to my song, because in my song I say I throw nothing away. I'll find a use another day for all this junk I keep. Well, I don't want them daggum metal filings in my arms and forearms or whatever when I'm leaning on the workbench. So I'm going to use a bread bag and my trusty magnet. I also use bread bags when I'm changing oil. But all I'm going to have to do is just go right around there. Okay, we need to pick you guys up. See all them? Ha ha! Alright. I'm going to mount that right there. Bolt that underneath it. And put that in between it. Well, I told you I wanted to get it level. So, got the back wheels on there, and had this big block of wood that some of these European style pallets is made out of. And there's that little old piece of wood off of that furniture moving dolly. And I just drilled holes through it and ran some long bolts and drew them up real tight so it sucked the head of the bolt up in that board right there. So so we don't have metal scraping the floor. Set it on both sides. Now, this took a little bit of time. I already had some scrap pieces of angle iron, so I didn't have to cut the angle iron, but I did have to drill holes. And one piece of angle iron is bolted to the frame. It was pre-drilled and already had nuts welded on it, and it's 4 metric, but I was able to convince it to accept standard or SAE. So you got a piece of angle iron here and one here, and they're bolted up there like that, and that's what holds this bar, which I welded up, and that's my handle. So there, the handle was scrap. The angle iron was scrap pieces give to me. The bolts, we probably got, I don't know, 40 cents worth of bolts. These long bolts, probably $1 worth of them, maybe $1.50. Say we got $2 combined in all the bolts. I already had these wheels because I was going to make a go-kart, but they're $4 each if you go buy them. The most expensive thing was the the most expensive thing was the all thread. Now, a lot of people say, well, why don't you just put bolts in it? Well, bolts, then you're twisting on the frame right there. Makes that a weak spot. And this way, them wheels ain't gonna do nothing except follow it. Hell, you'd be able to tow it down the road if you wanted to, I guess. Well, there you go. As you can see, it's starting to get evening time here. Sorry, I just didn't have time to film it as I went. It takes 3 or 4 times as long to do that. And this was pretty much self-explanatory after I got the wheels on it. But it beat the heck out of paying $50 for a wheel kit, even though you know, a lot of labor was involved. My time ain't worth nothing, no way. Folks, make sure that you check out gethappyhemp.com and use the discount code DoingItCheap30 so that you, at almost 65-year-old, can go all day long like you used to as a young man. Been out here piddling with this thing all day long. Felt good while doing it. But the happy hemp don't keep me from getting hungry. I think I got to go in there and get me something to eat. Y'all have a wonderful day and a better tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for subscribing to my Papa's channel.